I'm going to leave the best till last, because something that wasn't around 100 years ago was women playing rugby league. I won't say there weren't women in rugby league, and Chris was talking about Therese making sure that he parked the car close to the toilets because they had 4 girls. My mother used to pray to St Anthony to make him guide when we were kicking for goal, praying to some of the other saints that we weren't hurt when we were playing, particularly against Dunedoo. But league tag has brought a whole new dimension, not just to Castlereagh League, not just to Dunedoo, but to rugby league right across our area. And just this week, a young girl, Todd Hunter, who started in Dubbo, she played a bit of league tag with both Macquarie and Sims. She went down and played league tackle in Sydney, and she's just been named in the Eels team to play in the National Rugby League. How many women here would have loved to have played rugby league back in the day? We heard from Rick Trethowan earlier. Look at what his daughter has achieved in rugby union and in rugby league and in touch and in netball. Some outstanding players, but a memory that will live forever with me was the 2020 Grand Finals, and I played the song a couple of times of the girls telling us where they came from. So we're going to hear from Brianna Smith, who's been there for a long time, and Lauren Sullivan. 4 big meat pies today.
Firstly, I'm sorry if you've heard my voice on the radio today. That sound will haunt me forever. And hopefully you're full enough by now to find some of our speech funny. So, good evening everyone. It's so lovely to see so many here tonight celebrating 100 years of the Swans. My name is Brianna Smith, and I started playing for the Swans back in 2015 when we first formed. And since then I've coached for 2 seasons and captained for about 5. I remember Mark Gallagher ringing me up asking if I'd be interested in playing league tag. I had no idea what he was on about, as I'd never heard of the sport before, but I found myself and 8 other girls in Golgong about to take the field. Long story short, we went on to beat Golgong in our first ever game, and I guess I enjoyed myself that much I've stuck around for the subsequent 9 years. I have felt sorry for our coaches over the years, Mark Gallagher, Matthew Juan, Jack Juan, and even myself at times. Because while you may think that coaching a bunch of women means compliant and polite people, this is far from the truth. Just like league players, we spit, swear, backchat, and even enjoy the odd bushman blow. It's a big task to take on our team at times because we tend to know it all, and getting 20 odd women to listen to a man in particular for an extended period of time is next to impossible. If Maddie isn't off with the Pixies, Meg and Hallie aren't engrossed in their own conversation or making TikToks, and the Gallagher girls or Smith girls aren't bickering amongst themselves, we're usually too concerned with who is wearing what after the game on the weekend. And I hope you got the memo, Sally. This is a dressy weekend, not just a club shirt one. We have recruited players from many places over the years, from Coolah, Mendoran, Golgong, Mudgee, Dubbo, Binnaway, Newcastle, Sydney, and even Germany. We've had players commit to travelling hours to play for us every weekend, which we are incredibly grateful for, and some of these players have stuck around for several seasons. Our girls have also known to be fiery at times. Some examples that come to mind are Shani and Sammy coming to blows in the Canberra game, Lucy Juan being sent for a game, Hallie recently getting a 2-game suspension, and Taylor Hogden being told by myself, "I'm not your friend, I'm your coach, get off the field." This attitude has also meant that we have been a competitive league tag team. In 2015, league tag was introduced to the Castlereagh competition, and we managed to captivate the Dunedoo supporters as our boys did not form that year, even making it to the semi-finals where we lost to Canberra. 2016, we unfortunately didn't make the finals and came 6th. In 2017, we made the grand final against Warwick, which we unfortunately lost. Then in 2018, we came equal 4th on account back. And then in we came 5th on account back. Then in 2019, we came 5th on account back again. In 2020, we trained extremely hard and were second to the very strong Barradine outfit all year, and we managed to claim the premiership. While some parts of the night are foggy, bringing that shield home was the best feeling, even if it did have to be confiscated off us because we could not be trusted with its safety, and I may or may not have lost one or two of the little shields off it. In that grand final game against Barradine, we were down 22-10 just after half-time. But it was Hayley Cox scoring, followed by Annie's 50-metre runaway try, and then Lauren's backup try with Annie scoring just under the post that ultimately won us the game, 26-22. Then, in 2021, we were second on the ladder, but the season was cut short to COVID, unfortunately. Then, last year, in 2022, we made the semi-finals, but went down to Narromine in what can only be described as a very heated game. And now, in 2023, I'm proud to say that we are top of the table, and after today, we are undefeated after 8 games. Over the years, we have also competed in several knockouts, and twice we have come away with the trophy. In 2021, we won our first knockout. We went into the day with no subs and lost to Coonabarabran during the pool rounds, but beat Barradine in the final 10-8. Then this year we went to Coonamble and we went through the day undefeated. Coming up against Narromine in the finals to beat them 20-6 and take out not only the knockout shield again, but became the first ever recipients of the Jess Skinner Challenge Cup, which, like the Baroni Cup equivalent in the men's competition, cannot be taken off us until we are beaten at home. And after today's game, I can say we are still the holders of that trophy. Footy trips and bus trips have always been a great source of entertainment. I remember our Newcastle trip that a few of our veterans came to, like Lisa, Rach, Kylie, Spuzz and Juicy. And while we were all still back at the room, recovering from the night before, they had gone down to some bar to celebrate Oktoberfest. And we walked in to find them, and by them I mean Juicy and Spuzz, dancing on tables. Now, we can't share everything that has happened on these trips, but there have been strip searches and tackling strangers at 2 a.m. on the streets. I should also mention that while we have been competitive on the paddock, we also excel off the field in boat races. Honourable mentions go to Kira, Millie and myself, and honestly I'm just happy that I still have something to offer to this team at my age. But Fleur was happy to step in a few times in the earlier seasons, smashing the opposition. And while Maddie Cox and Hayley Berg are always the first to put their hands up to help, the beer either ends up all over themselves, or in Maddie's case, she just tips it on the floor. Ultimately, it is always a fun time being a Swanette. And while there's a few secrets I may have to keep, I do have a clip that I would like to share with everyone.